Hello, hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, we're going to cover this chapter, the second chapter of Unit 1. And in next 10-15 minutes, basically in next 15 minutes or 10 minutes, because the chapter is really short. So in the next 15 minutes, we're going to cover this chapter fully nicely. So if you're watching this video is going to really help you out with this chapter. Not only this chapter, बहुत सारे videos है already. Class 11 के मैंने अभी शुरू किया है videos डालना. Class 12 के already videos available है. And after watching this video, what you're going to do, you're not going to go to the other video. You're actually going to go to the description box of this, chapter and look at the questions. I've given the questions which are actually not from not which I have made. These questions are actually from sample question papers or from my experiences, I've also given my 12th boards, 11th exams. So whatever I felt, teachers used to tell me that whatever they felt is important, whatever I felt is important, I have given it so that it can help you and you can do really well in your exams. And I really want to add that as the weather is really bad nowadays, so take care of your health also, because even if you know everything, you're fully prepared and your revisions are done, learning part is completed, everything is done, but still because of the weather change, you're not feeling well, you're unwell, everything can go, can turn around. आपके तबीयत ख़राब होने की वजह से your exam can go not go that good, मतलब अच्छा भी जा सकता है बट बुरा भी जा सकता है, राइट? सो कोई भी ऐसा चीज़ ना हो जिससे कि आपका एग्ज़ाम गंदा हो, तो ये ध्यान रखो, ठीक है? तो लेट जस्ट नॉट डिले एनी मोर एंड गेट इनटू दिस चैप्टर. बैरियर्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. बैरियर्स टू कम्युनिकेशन वी नो what it means. Communication is where I am talking to a person. That can be I'm talking it and I'm just talking it. There is no feedback or response. It's not a conversation where I'm talking it, I'm asking question and you have to answer. जैसे कि अभी मैं वीडियो बना रही हूँ, ठीक है? This is a one-way communication to a certain extent when the comments are turned off, ठीक है? If the comments are turned on, then it won't be a one-way communication, then it would be like a two-way communication, because I am also taking your feedback and response, right? तो बैरियर्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन क्या होता है ना, बैरियर्स टू कम्युनिकेशन का मतलब है कि क्या क्या कम्युनिकेशन में बैरियर्स आ सकते हैं. तो जब हम आपको इमेजिन करने बोले कि कम्युनिकेशन में एक्चुअली बैरियर्स क्या आ सकते हैं, तो फिर आप द थिंग विच यूल से इज़ लैंग्वेज का बैरियर्स एंड ऑल. तो वही सब हम लोग ये चैप्टर में पढ़ने वाले हैं, ठीक है? लैंग्वेज का बैरियर्स विच कम्स इन आवर माइंड इन वेरी फर्स्ट बेसिकली, राइट? तो जैसे कि मैं बंगाली हूँ और आप maybe you are from Maharashtra or you're South Indian, like whatever it is, then you won't be able to understand my language, and I don't know maybe your language, and I don't know Hindi also, or any common language which is understandable by both of us. I don't know that language, so it can be very much difficult for us to understand each other's language. This is what barrier is all about, ठीक है? तो फिर मेरे को communicate करना है, आपको अपना feelings पहुँचाना है, what I am thinking, what is my opinion, my thoughts, my feedback, my response, whatever I want to give, transmit, whatever. I won't be able to do it, or even if I'm trying to do my level best, I won't be able to do it very nicely. It will be very much difficult for me to do it, and it will be difficult for the other person also, for you also to understand what I'm telling, right? If I'm making this video in maybe in Telugu, in the language of Telugu, there will be people who would be able to understand, but I won't be able to reach out to many people, because if I'm talking in English, there are many people who would be able to understand. Again, if I'm talking in Hindi, then will be again people who would be able to understand, right? The ratio is comparatively larger or like vast as compared to Telugu, right? तो लैंग्वेज बैरियर्स होते हैं. अच्छा, बिफोर गोइंग टू द लिंग्विस्टिक बैरियर विच इज़ लैंग्वेज बैरियर, ठीक है? उसको लिंग्विस्टिक बोलते हैं, लैंगोलिंगो, राइट? तो उसके पहले भी बहुत सारे बैरियर्स है. अबाउट 5 बैरियर्स आर देयर, 4-5 बैरियर्स, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू कवर इन दिस वीडियो. तो दैट्स ऑल, ठीक है? ये चैप्टर सिर्फ यही है. बैरियर्स टू कम्युनिकेशन, ठीक है? कम्युनिकेशन इज ऑलवेज स्मूथ, नॉट ऑलवेज स्मूथ एंड क्लियर. देयर आर मैनी रीजन्स फॉर दिस. They are identified. If the communication is not smooth, if the communication is not clear to you, whatever I'm speaking to you in this video and I'm uploading it, whatever you are hearing it, if it is not clear to you, there can be a reason. That reason would be barrier means difficulty. Sorry for the bad handwriting, ठीक है? That is what difficulty, obstacle, barrier, problems जो भी बोल सकते हो. barrier is the better version of that term, इसलिए barrier यूज़ किया गया है, but barrier is basically difficulties. See, it's written here, barriers are difficulties that come in the way of or in the path of communication. Now what are the barriers? Physical है barriers, mechanical है, psychological है, cultural और linguistic, right? अब we are going to know about these barriers in detail. If you're talking about physical, तो physical के अंदर क्या चीज़ है जो कि as a barrier होता है in communication, ठीक है? जैसे कि हम लोग चैप्टर क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं? ये चैप्टर इसलिए पढ़ रहे हैं जैसे कि we are in a growing stage, and now is a time where we should interact to new people, where we are usually interacting with new people, right? Not only new people, different people, but हम लोग को इंटरेक्ट करना ही पड़ेगा, बिकॉज इफ़ यू वांट टू ग्रो एज अ पर्सन, एज इन एज में तो ग्रो कर ही लेगा, विच इज़ वेरी नॉर्मल एंड वेरी नेचुरल ऑल्सो, बट विथ ग्रोइंग फिजिकली वी हैव टू ग्रो इट मेंटली एज वेल. मतलब मेरे को और लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस है, तो आई हैव टू गो एंड इंटरेक्ट, एंड दैट शुड बी अ इनिशिएटिव विच शुड कम फ्रॉम विद इन, So that is why interacting is something which is really important. Communication is something which is a basic necessity. Your food, water, as important as water plays in our in our life um, is like equivalent to the importance of communication, I feel. ठीक है, मतलब जब जितना पानी आपके लिए ज़रूरत है उतना आपके लिए communication is important, because you won't be able to survive without communicating, right? You need someone with whom you can share your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas, right? This is what communication is all about. Now if I talk about the physical barriers, the major अच्छा, physical barriers का दूसरा नाम environmental barriers है. ये question पूछे कि define environmental barriers, then you are going to write everything about the physical barriers. Sorry for my bad throat again, जैसे मैंने mention किया, it is because of the weather change. So take care of yourself, हाँ, आपका bad throat ना हो जाए, और even if हो जाता है तो take care again of yourself, so that you can be healthy and you can give your as much as time to the education area, because 11 and 12, and that's all. And believe me, after 12th your life is really going to change as in for betterment. ठीक है, तो मेजर इन्वायरमेंटल या फिजिकल बैरियर्स क्या होते हैं? टाइम होता है, प्लेस होता है, स्पेस होता है, क्लाइमेट होता है, और नॉइज़ होता है. अच्छा, just imagine tomorrow is your exam, you're actually studying, and there is in your apartment there's a marriage which is going to taking place. This is not an exact barrier for in communication, but it would be a barrier because you won't be able to study because DJ ho raha hai, not only DJ, it creating a lot of noise, and you're not able, even if you're shutting your doors, windows and everything, you are not able to pay attention on your studies, and you have to actually, because tomorrow is your exam. ठीक है, तो नॉइज़ कैन बी अ बैरियर फॉर एडुकेशन. नाउ इफ आई टॉक अबाउट एज कम्युनिकेशन, विच इज़ द कंसेप्ट, विच इज़ द मेन थिंग. ठीक है, तो नॉइज़ कैसे हो सकता है बैरियर? नॉइज़ हो सकता है, मे बी यू वेंट टू अ पार्टी एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द डीजे, बिकॉज ऑफ द सॉन्ग म्यूजिक विच इज प्लेड, you are not able to communicate, you are not able, it's really important, you really want to communicate or you want to talk to someone or something like that, but because of the sound, because of the song, loud voice की वजह से you are actually not able to do so. This is how noise can be a barrier to communication. Now if I talk about the climate, देन अगेन क्लाइमेट के वजह से यू आर नॉट एबल टू कम्युनिकेट. मतलब टाइम हो गया, प्लेस हो गया, जैसे कि थिएटर्स, ठीक है, टाइम, प्लेस. तो ये सारे इन्वायरमेंटल और फिजिकल बैरियर्स है. इन्वायरमेंट मतलब एवरीथिंग इज अराउंड यू, बिकॉज ऑफ योर सराउंडिंग यू आर नॉट एबल टू कम्युनिकेट बिकॉज ऑफ योर surrounding, because of your environment. That is why physical barriers is also known as environmental barriers. ठीक है, तो if they are asking about the environmental barriers, you are going to write everything about the physical barriers. In the first line you are going to mention it, that the other name of environmental barriers is physical barrier. It is a difficulty which comes in a path of, you are going to write this line for each barrier. हो सकता है कि आप भूल जाओ, तो to make your answer a bit lengthy, मतलब जैसे कि 2 मार्क्स के लिए है पर आपको 1 मार्क्स जितना आंसर आता है, तो you can write what barrier you feel is. ठीक है, you can exaggerate your point in your language. ठीक है, मे बी 1 point है but you can exaggerate it. So this is what I am saying, that you have to work, hard work तो करना ही है, but we have to work smartly as well to get marks, right? Some of them are easy to alter, whereas some may prove to be tough obstacles in the process of effective communication. Sometimes we can manage it, but sometimes it can really become problematic. It can create a lot of obstacles, difficulties in the path of communication. ठीक है, but sometimes we can manage it. These factors may just cause distraction, leading to inattentiveness. Obviously, if I'm talking and someone is constantly disturbing me, so it can be मतलब it would be actually disturbing for me to convey what I am thinking. Like I will not, even if I am very much attentive and everything, but I may get distracted, so that's why if someone cut you or someone constantly disturbs you while you're talking, you get irritated, and you somehow reaction आ जाता है गंदा वाला. So this is how it can, you actually know that this is a barrier. If you are not able to speak, ठीक है, smoothly, clearly, then whatever is happening, and because of what you are not able to speak clearly or smoothly, is what barrier is all about, right? Totally after the message and causing miscommunication. Now barrier की वजह से it can be a miscommunication as well. You're not able to speak it, so some miscommunication can take place, right? Ill health की वजह से, as I said, while speaking I'm like now you also can see I'm coughing, so that can be a barrier. ठीक है, disturbed condition, my mental health is not good, I won't be able to communicate. तो इसलिए बोलते हैं ना, when a person is depressed, you are able to know that the person, sometimes you are able to know actually, sometimes you don't pay so much attention, but you would be able to understand that the person is not, if a person is sad, the person won't talk to you. So that can be a barrier that which can come into physical barrier. ठीक है, ये सारे physical वाले, environmental भी बोलते हैं इसको, पर ये physical more looking like, right? And can cause subjective stress and obstruction in the path of communication. Now if I talk about psychological and self-image, this part is important because it's something which is different. ठीक है, each of us has a frame of reference on our own. ठीक है. The psychological barrier communication is the influence of psychological state of the communicator, which is happening between the sender. Like if it may happen, with me, if I'm the sender, it may happen with me, or it may happen with you also. Matlab, if I am depressed or kind of a person, I won't be able to convey what I actually feel. And if the sender is also having a depressed kind of a mental state, then he won't, or he or she, whatever, won't be able to actually pay attention to what I am speaking or I'm talking about, right? So dono sides say attention is what required, is the basic requirement, okay, in communication, and which can create an obstacle in effective communication. Acha, if I'm talking constantly and the other person is the receiver or the listener with whom I'm talking to is I am, as a person, I'm not, I'm able to understand that the person is not attentive, or the person is thinking something else. Okay, there's usually teachers, even if you're not talking, usually teachers say that pay attention. So why they are saying? Because they can understand that you're not actually paying attention or thinking something else, you're in the other world, which usually teachers usually say in the class. So this is what comes under psychological barrier, because whatever she's saying, you're not understanding it. You won't be able to understand it because you're thinking something else, you're not actually paying attention, you're distracted. And even if you're not talking to anyone, or even if there is no environmental barrier around you, or any surrounding mein koi bhi problem nahi chal raha hai, but still you won't be able to understand because you were thinking something else when she was teaching something to you. Communication is highly influenced by the mental conditions, yeah, we all know, and that the communicators is disturbed by the mental so same thing which is said in different languages. You can write any 4 lines from this and that would be enough. Defensive of fear ke bare mein baat kare to they're actually talking about because of fear. Dekho, I can speak English fluently, there's no language problem, there is no physical problem, like physical barrier wala problem. Environmental, maybe my surrounding mein sab kuch sahi hai, theek hai. I went for an interview, my mental condition is also good, my psychological barrier, there's no psychological barrier, theek hai. I went to the interview, I because of lack of confidence, because of nervousness, I'm not able to speak in front of her, theek hai. तो वो क्या हो गया, वो fear या defensiveness में आ गया, because I'm not able to share my opinion or communicate properly. The communication is not happening smoothly. I'm fumbling in while speaking, I'm fumbling, I'm not able to, I'm stammering, maybe I'm shivering वाला तो physical में आ जाएगा. But because of fear, I'm not able to talk, I'm not able to communicate, is what defensive and fear is all about. This barrier is all about. Okay, let me read. Defensive behaviors show when a person doesn't feel physically and emotionally safe. Not only physically, but emotionally, when you feel uncomfortable, right? Then defensive behaviors are taken. Okay, take place usually. Okay. Usually there is a perceived or real threat when acted on defensive behaviors, which can be a barrier to effective communication, right? Now, language and cultural. Acha, when I started this chapter, the first definition which I gave was about the language barrier. Language barrier is what linguistic and cultural barrier is all about. I gave example of Telugu and different languages. That is what the example which goes for this barrier. Okay, so I'm not going to explain it again, but yeah, everyone knows that language में barrier होने की वजह से I can't talk. If I don't know English, ठीक है, and I'm supposed to speak in English in my interview, I won't be able to speak it. Even if I try my 100%, I won't be able to say what I exactly feel. Maybe I know, she gave me a topic to speak on, and I know very good points, where I can actually, if I'll speak in English, it would be a remarkable wala answer, matlab, acha wala answer. But I don't know English at all. So even if I try to speak in English with in broken sentences or something, I won't be able to convey the exact thought or opinion which I am holding right now, right? तो language के problem के वजह से बहुत communication miscommunication भी हो सकता है, effective communication नहीं भी हो सकता है. Even if the person is able to understand what I am actually trying to say, but it won't be a effective communication. Even if she is thinking that अच्छा point है, ये समझ गई कि what actually I wanted to think, because she's experienced or she's elder to me something. तो even then also it won't be like, she will not praise me because it was not a effective communication. ठीक है. इफ़ और कभी कभी जब वो समझ में नहीं आएगा, वो एज अ रिक्रूटर उनको समझ में नहीं आएगा, जो इंटरव्यू मेरा ले रही है उनको समझ में नहीं आएगा, तो द पर्सन विल ऑल्सो द पर्सन कैन थिंक समथिंग एल्स. तो मिसकम्युनिकेशन कैन ऑल्सो टेक प्लेस. इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन नहीं भी हो सकता है, मिसकम्युनिकेशन भी हो सकता है. ठीक है. तो इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन इज अ नेसेसरी पार्ट ऑफ लीडिंग विद इंडिविजुअल. द इनएबिलिटी टू कम्युनिकेट यूजिंग लैंग्वेज इज नोन एज लैंग्वेज बैरियर टू कम्युनिकेशन, राइट? अच्छा देखो, मैकेनिकल बैरियर जो है वो स्टार्टिंग में आई गेस मेंशन नहीं किया गया था, या मेंशन किया गया था, सॉरी मेंशन किया गया था. देयर आर टोटली लिंग्विस्टिक बैरियर 1 2 3 4. तो यहाँ पे फियर और डिफेंसिव मेंशन नहीं किया गया था, राइट? बट फियर डिफेंसिव भी आते हैं. फियर डिफेंसिव में भी साइकोलॉजिकल के अंदर भी थोड़ा बहुत आ जाता है, क्योंकि समथिंग विच इज इंक्लूडिंग योर मेंटल स्टेट. ठीक है, बट फिजिकली भी इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. तो फियर एंड डिफेंसिव कैन बी अ डिफरेंट पॉइंट. मैकेनिकल जो बैरियर है ना, मैकेनिकल बैरियर इज समथिंग वेयर यू आर यूजिंग some object to transmit your message. ठीक है. And this is not limited to media, radio, television. It includes machines as well. So even if I'm this communication, okay, this communication is happening through a media. I'm not talking in front of you, you can't see me. It's because of this facility, this is audio visual wala facility, through internet I'm transmitting whatever my thoughts about the chapter, my explanation about the chapter, and you're watching it. If it's needed, you're going to the YouTube, you're searching for it, and you're watching it. And whatever happens while watching this video as a barrier with whatever comes in the path of communication, well, the while I'm speaking, whatever barrier which comes is happening through a technical issue. ठीक है, maybe आपका नेट के वजह से प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, maybe apart from the language part, apart from whatever, मतलब ये सारे चीज़ की वजह से जो भी प्रॉब्लम आ रहे हैं, बैरियर्स आ रहे हैं, कुछ भी टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहे हैं, वो मैकेनिकल बैरियर्स के अंदर आ रहा है. ठीक है, जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं वो सारे मैकेनिकल बैरियर्स के अंदर. क्यों? दे हैव ऑल्सो गिवन द एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ रेडियो एंड टेलीविजन. पहले के टाइम पे टेलीविजन के में ना एक एंटीना जैसा ऊपर छत में रहता था, और वो मतलब बर्ड्स की वजह से हिल जाता था, तो फिर यू वुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट. तो वो जो कम्युनिकेशन था वो वो बंद हो जाता था, फिर उसको ठीक करना पड़ता था, फिर वो कम्युनिकेशन शुरू हो जाता था. कम्युनिकेशन ऐसे वो सीरियल हो गया या फिर कोई भी डेली सीरीज़ हो गया जो देखा जा रहा था, वो उसका कम्युनिकेशन, वो कम्युनिकेट ही कर रहा था ना, वो वन वे कम्युनिकेशन था, जिस पर आपका कोई इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं है, पर आपका एज ए ऑडियंस इन्वॉल्वमेंट है. आपको बस देख के एंजॉय करना है, एज ए एंटरटेनमेंट का सोर्स में आपको वो डेली चीज़, वो डेली सीरियल जो आप देख रहे हो वो मिल रहा है, राइट. ड्रामा सीरीज़ उसको बोलते हैं बेटर लैंग्वेज में. तो वो क्या हो गया, वो मैकेनिकल बैरियर के अंदर आ गया. रेडियो में भी वो मैकेनिकल बैरियर के अंदर आ गया. ठीक है, it includes machines. It includes also machines. It is not only limited to television or radio. It also includes machine which with hearing or speech impairment. ठीक है, तो मतलब you will see few people wearing something in their ears so that they can hear clearly. So if there is problem in that machine which they are wearing in their hair, in their ear, and they are, even if I'm talking it very clearly, they as they have problem in hearing, then because of that machine also they won't be able to understand me, या क्लियरली मेरे को समझ नहीं पाएंगे, सुन नहीं पाएंगे. तो वो मशीन की वजह से विच दे वो वेयरिंग इनसाइड देयर ईयर और समथिंग लाइक दैट, तो वो भी मैकेनिकल बैरियर के अंदर में ही आएगा. तो दिस वाज ऑल अबाउट दिस चैप्टर. ठीक है, देखो यहाँ टेक्निकल वर्ड मेंशन किया गया. तो दिस वाज ऑल अबाउट दिस चैप्टर वेयर आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड यू इन अ बेटर लैंग्वेज बोल सकते हैं, या फिर इन अ बेटर वे, इतना ईजी तरीके से मैंने समझाया. इफ़ यू आर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो, आई think that you would be able to understand it. And go to the description. Even if in the description box I will write define physical barriers, define psychological barrier, तो ऐसे ही टाइप के क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं. You have to only learn 4 points from the paragraph. Make any 4 points and have to learn it. And